The U.S. is reaching, unfortunately, a level of political violence and just division that is really reminiscent of 1919, or just the few years post World War I. In a lot of ways, I feel like we could all benefit from learning about the World War I and post World War I era. During the summer of 1919, 40 plus bombs over two instances, I think in April and then June, were detonated all across the country at the homes or businesses of really prominent politicians, business officials, political officials mostly. None of the intended targets were killed. Actually, only one person was killed. It was the night watchman who was looking over the home of the Attorney General Mitchell Palmer. And Mitchell Palmer is going to be the most important intended victim because he now is the head of the Justice Department and is going to turn around and do everything he can to bring the people who did it to justice and more. Who did it? Well, it was a group called the Galleanists, I believe is how you would say it. They followed an Italian immigrant who'd come to the United States who was an anarchist named Luigi Galleani. The anarchist movement probably reached its height around this time, like turn of the 20th century up through maybe around 1920. And keep in mind, anarchy doesn't mean chaos, right? The goal of an anarchist is basically to just like attack and dismantle any of the powerful institutions that exist. It's just like any powerful institution is going to corrupt, shouldn't exist, and we should kind of take it back down and give the power back to the people. Now, to be very clear, they thought the only way to dismantle these systems was through violence and what we would today probably call like acts of terror. You can see this was like the leaflet that was delivered with each of the bombs. A lot of them were, most of the bombs were actually delivered through the U.S. mail. And the only reason that they discovered this plot was because one of them, at least one of the packages, didn't have enough postage on it. And so it was like flagged and someone looked into it. But this was the pamphlet that was included. I'll let you pause and read it so you can see their intention and their message. Now, to be totally clear, I think Mitchell Palmer had every right. It was his job actually to like bring the perpetrators to justice. The problem was that he really just used this as a blank check to go after anyone that the Justice Department had deemed an enemy. And so this is really anyone on the left, especially immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe, right? So in the years leading up to World War I and then during World War I, there was this increasing fear that the types of immigrants that were coming over to the country at this point were not the types of immigrants that we wanted. A lot of them were Catholic, a lot of them were less white, it was kind of believed, and they were worried that they were sort of diluting our like white Puritan culture. The other issue is that a lot of these immigrants were coming over from places that had bigger, more thriving, left-leaning political groups, right? Think, Karl Marx was from Germany, right? We also have the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917 that brings communism to what would become the Soviet Union. But as a result of these raids, they were across 36 different cities. Over 6,000 people were rounded up and taken, and then over 500 were ultimately deported.